First quarter on the Rural Radio Network, getting an update on midday markets with Mike Zuzolo of Global Commodity Analytics. And Mike, let's talk a little bit about weather. We were hoping for some rain this weekend here in the Central Plains, but maybe it doesn't look like that.
Yeah, that could be the story of the day here, Bruce, depending on how the trade wants to play it. But the noon GFS model is now out about 7 days, and it is much drier for the Western Corn Belt and the hard red wheat belt versus the prior run about 24 hours ago. We've started to see this drying out pattern in the morning runs. We'll see now whether the European update later here in about an hour or so confirms this. It was still very wet for Nebraska and Kansas for the Easter holiday weekend. So we'll see what it has to say. The big question on my mind is if we do see the European model confirm a drier bias, will the trade cover shorts in the wheat before the weekend holiday, or will they wait until we come back to trade on Sunday night upon confirmation of one way or the other? And that's going to be the tough one as far as how we trade this market.
Yeah, a lot of movable parts right now, isn't there?
There really are. And, we have the outside markets that are supportive when it comes to the livestock in terms of a stronger Wall Street price action. But we also have the dollar up about 0.5% on some short covering. And that, too, is probably weighing on the U.S. wheat compared to the European wheat futures. So that adds even another new moving part to it.
We're talking about the livestock. We got a cash market that didn't do much last week. Has there been any trade at all this week? We've got a shortened week, of course.
I'm hearing offers are all the way up north of 210 right now. Box beef would suggest being back up to that 335 level, that we are probably close to 210 in terms of cash negotiated price for offers. So I'm thinking that we've got a packer that's short bought right now going into a holiday weekend. And if he or she doesn't come in on Friday because it's Good Friday, they'll wait until next week. But I think we have a stronger cash market, stronger Wall Street market in the interim, and that's helping to support these markets and fill some gaps on some of the daily charts.
Let's talk a little bit about those outside markets. Wall Street has been good for the last couple of days. It seems like the cattle market especially has been following that trend.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think one of the things that we have to look at as far as what's happening in the trade sentiment is because President Trump put a pause, that 90-day pause on the tariffs, that really allowed us to go back to trade the fundamentals, the supply-demand fundamentals, in terms of ranking it higher as far as what's moving markets. And that's why the corn's been stronger, because it's demand. We had another sale to Portugal this morning of 110,000 tons of U.S. corn. Soybeans have been up until the bean oil turnaround, which is sharply higher now at midday. The beans had been the weaker suit of cards, just because I think the WASDE report was finally getting priced in.
Yeah, it looks back to the grain markets for a little bit. The new crop corn is about the only thing looking green at all on the grain markets.
Yeah, nice point. Another supply-demand fundamental the trade can price in pretty much right away. We got 4% planted against 6% as far as the trade estimate on yesterday's numbers. Missouri, the big loser, only 9% planted in corn versus 23% a year ago today.
All right, Mike, thank you very much. Mike Zuzolo from Global Commodity Analytics. For the market update here, you can receive 2 weeks of a free trial on Mike's newsletter when you mention Rural Radio Network. Log on to GlobalCom with 2 M's, research.com. That's GlobalComResearch.com. This is the Rural Radio Network.